If you've never seen it before, the Betoota Advocate is one of Australia's really genuinely successful homegrown digital startups. It is a small town newspaper that writes headlines that some people often mistake for satirical news. I don't know who these people are, how they get it wrong. But anyway, they're launching a podcast this week. We are here with the editor who's come in from Betoota. It's a big trip on an ultralight plane. Clancy Overell, editor of the Betoota Advocate. Welcome to Download the Show.
Thanks for having me, Mark.
So, you're launching a podcast. It is launching on the 12th, I believe. What are people going to get in the Betoota Advocate podcast?
The opening one will be probably one of the most prominent political staffers in probably contemporary Australian politics. And we'll be talking about certain things that might have been happening involving political staffers.
You're going to get the Vicky Campion exclusive?
Well, yeah, not Vicky herself. We'll get Vicky down the track, I imagine. You know, the DMAs have done our intro song for us.
That sounds great. For you, you guys have done appearances and you worked with politicians on things. So you helped Bob Catter with an ad campaign.
That was a bit of fun.
Yes, well timed. And you've also appeared with the Prime Minister and things like that. And I guess there's a sort of challenge there, right? So much of what makes the Betoota Advocate great is this idea baked into the concept, but also in the execution of you guys as outsiders. When you start appearing with people that are at the absolute centre of news stories, how do you manage keeping the brand clean, if you know what I mean?
The politically indifferent tend to live in regional areas, so you can't really expect anyone from out west to be, unless they're dyed-in-the-wool nationals, and not many of them exist anymore. So I guess, you know, we carry ourselves the same way regional voters do, which is that anyone's in the crosshairs. Whether or not they come over and put their hats on and they stand next to you, it doesn't really make them your friend. The
people that live near Betoota, I should say, we are talking to the editor of the Betoota Advocate, and people that live near Betoota, the real place that exists, go with me on this, how do they relate to you guys as an aspect of the culture there? I don't even know how to navigate that question.
The town's, you know, ever since we have seen success in, you know, in the cities and the eastern kind of seaboard and even over in WA and the top end, the town's revitalising. The signs are going missing, and the pub's reopening. The iconic pub that was, you know, sit there dormant for 20 years is reopening, and the community's really happy with that. And they all understand what we do, and they all carry a bit of us in them.
Do you like reading the comments on Facebook on your articles?
Yeah, there's like the letter to the editor, you know, aspect of it all. We actually got a really spicy one last night that we threw up on Instagram regarding a bloke in WA that had created a mock-up diorama of Port Arthur and how he thinks there was more than one shooter and sent his kid to school for show and tell, and now they've had to change schools. And that's real. You know, we get all that. Wow. Yeah.
That's a bit special.
Yeah.
It's funny. I think the headline that I'm always going to associate with the Betoota Advocate is the one that it gets shared quite frequently thanks to America's gun laws, which is Australia enjoys another peaceful day under oppressive gun regime. Would that be the most successful article that you, or certainly headline you guys have written?
It's a bit like anything in regards to that debate. You know, Jim Jeffries becomes a whole lot relevant each time something happens.
That great speech.
John Howard or John Oliver, all those people that have kind of done a bit of Aussie chest beating. And we didn't mean to do that. We definitely, when we first published that thing, it wasn't in the heat of the debate, and it wasn't after anything had happened. But we see it get trotted out. People have got it there loaded for when they want to have that argument, and that's what the internet is nowadays.
When it comes to you guys, how much time are you spending on, because the headline is the most important thing. It's usually the thing that people share, often before they've even read the article sometimes. On average, how much time and how much debate discussion goes into that one line for you guys?
This is something we all, as editors, and I think news organisations all around the country would do this. It's kind of in the hands of whoever wrote it and whoever. Okay. That's clickbait. If you're having a brainstorm on how you're going to trick people into reading this.
How criminal is it that the Betoota Advocate haven't got their Walkley yet?
I mean, we went to the Walkleys last year and they put us on the table with the cartoonists. So
I mean, where is the respect?
I know. Once we get off that table, we'll be down there with Waleed and Peter Credlin. But it's I think the most offensive thing that happened, I think, over the last few years was Eliza Borrello brushing us from our application to get into the press gallery at Canberra. And we actually sent around.
Did that actually happen?
Yeah, we applied and she said no as the head of the press gallery. So we then in our mail out, put her email in it, and said, give her a nudge and see if she wants to change her mind.
And has she changed her mind?
No.
It's almost shocking that didn't work.
Yeah.
Well, look, I mean,
grassroots, mate.
Why aim small though? Just go full Pulitzer.
Yeah.
Aim for a Peabody.
Americans can never understand a lot of Australia's kind of vernacular, but the British are getting around it, and you start seeing big followings growing in Canada and some big kind
Is that expats?
Yeah, we imagine it starts that way, and there's definitely some stuff that they're not getting. Like, you start talking about state politics in Queensland. They can't understand that, but.
You telling me Bob Catter doesn't have a huge fan with the Mounties?
Well, they love him. They love him in England. The BBC,
Really?
they kind of look at Bob as a...
But the British love stories about racist Australians, though.
Yeah,
as a general rule.
They do like
and I'm
that
not saying
Dundee-
Bob
it's a
Catter is
Dundee
necessarily
thing.
a
Yeah,
racist. I'm just saying.
It's the Dundee complex.
Yeah.
It's like this man is what we want to think Australians are.
Oh, yeah. All right. The Betoota Advocate, not to be confused for a satirical news site, definitely a small independent media organisation.
Conservative regional news.
Is launching a new podcast. On the 12th, you can hear more of this interview on the podcast of Download This Show. We'll see you next time.